Good morning, you guys. I hope you guys had a blessed weekend and have good plans for the summer with your kiddos, if you have any. If you have dogs or cats, hopefully you took them to the pool. Not the cats, not the cats, just maybe the dogs, or maybe you took the dogs to the lake. Um, my plans are to work, 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 and work, and do this, do God's work, which I thoroughly enjoy. So today I want to talk to you about Proverbs 16:9. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our path. So I chose this one because when I looked back at my whole entire life, well, we'll just say from fourth grade because that's where I'm going to start at. It has brought me to my own disability, and I find it cool. Not that I have a disability, but I find it cool how God equipped me way back then into now. So I met a girl, and she's in a wheelchair. Fourth grade, she was in a wheelchair. She's still in a wheelchair today. And I met her. And the funny thing is I used to not do PE and help her with physical therapy. My teachers let me do that. But that's because I was strong enough to lift her out of her chair because being a gymnast, you're strong. So I was able to help lift her, and we talked and did a whole bunch of stuff, and it was really cool. And so going forward, I had friends who didn't have any disabilities, and they are the most heartless, ruthless, mean people, kids, teenagers, whatever you want to call them. Just about every single friend I had, they were like, no, we don't want to be your friend anymore. And I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything, but whatever. So the only friends I really had did have disabilities, whether they were blind, deaf, had mental challenges, in wheelchairs, whether they have epilepsy. I wouldn't say maybe epilepsy is a disability. Not sure. You can correct me. Um, and then here I am, however many years later, because I don't do math, I have my own disability. And with that, God equipped me to know all the different disabilities, and like having friends who have disabilities accept you for who you are, and which I didn't really understand back then. Maybe they just wanted friends, but no, they truly accept you for who you are. Because here I am having a disability. I do horseback riding for therapy, which is a ranch where it has a lot of kids who have autism, mental challenges, mutation issues, cognitive issues, whether they need strength. Um, and so, like, I'm surrounded by all these disability wonderful kids, and I've kind of become a role model at the ranch for these kids, and it's great. And I did not know that all the way back from fourth grade, God was equipping me to be where I'm at now with all these, me being a role model for these kids and having a disability myself and accepting my own self for who I am. And even at the ranch, I think the ranch is the only place that I feel accepted in this world. I can, and maybe other people can attest to that. Because these others, they just stare at you, and you're just like, dude, it's a cane, like get over it. Or maybe I'm just super hot that day. I don't know. But it's in it's it gives me less confidence when people, especially older people, like 60 and 70, they're like staring at me like hard because they're not wearing it, they're not having to have a cane, and I'm like, dude, like I'm glad you can walk, but I can't. So it's very uncomfortable sometimes. But you know, you have to just learn to keep pushing on. So for today, that's what we're going to work on is, you know, look back at your past. See how God has equipped you for a little bit of what you're doing today. And really without disability, I would have never been an encourager. I would have never reached out for God for help. I would have never done these sermonettes. Like, I would have never done it because I wouldn't have a need to. That's the thing. I wouldn't have a need to rely on him if I didn't have this disease. So I'm kind of grateful because now I'm doing God's work and what God wanted me to do this whole time. But I would have never gotten to this point if I would have never gotten MS. So I hope that's encouraging for you today. So I encourage you to look back on the past a little bit and see what something what is something that pinpoints to you as to what you're doing today. Eating is not one of them. Well, you got to eat, but don't, overeat. God did not call you to overeat. So just really try to get into it a little bit. And even if you have to ask God or get a word from the Bible, do that because He'll show you too. We'll get into that too. Anyways, I hope you guys have a blessed day and I look forward to doing this next week. Love ya. Bye.